guys, it's Amy. Welcome back to Too Blessed. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about this whole situation. You know what I'm talking about. um, this time that we are all going through that has been really difficult for a lot of people, including myself. Um, so I'm just going to jump into this and we're going to just chat, I guess, a little bit. So I really kind of I find it kind of funny that I've been having such a hard time dealing with this like staying at home thing because that's pretty much what I do. In my sort of normal everyday life, I spend a lot of time at home and I spend a lot of time by myself. So you would think that this would be easy for me, but it's really been challenging. And it's really been stressful. So I just kind of wanted to talk about some of the things I've been doing to deal with that stress. And maybe it might help someone else who's struggling with this too. So, like I said, just because of my health, I spend a lot of time at home by myself. A lot of times, the only times I go out are like when I go to dialysis, which is twice a week right now. I go to quite a few doctor's appointments, but my husband is really good about trying to get me out of the house other times. So sometimes, like in an evening when he'll come home, he'll say, "Hey, let's go for a ride. Let's go to a store. Let's just get you out of the house." And so he's really good about doing that. And I think that's what's been kind of challenging for us, for me especially, is that we can't just run out one evening and say go to Dollar Tree or go to a thrift store, which is something we love to do. We haven't been able to do that in quite a while now. So just that sort of disruption to everyday life. And normally I'm a person that doesn't mind change. In fact, I typically embrace change as long as it's good change. And so this doesn't feel like good change to me. So I guess that's why it's been bothering me so much. And just not even so much the part about, stay home and don't go these places and don't do these things. But more just, the stress of hearing about it. Because I was, especially when this first kind of started, I was online all day, either reading things or listening to things or, even right now I was kind of hesitant to make this video, to be honest, because a lot of YouTube videos right now are focused on this situation, and I haven't been able to watch a lot of them because I just really got to a point where it was just too much. There was too much information, coming in and too much conflicting information. I won't even go there, but, you hear one thing and then you hear something else and then you hear the opposite. And then, it's just way, way, way too stressful. And it started to feel like I couldn't get away from the situation. So I really had to, that was one of the first things I did, is I had to make a conscious effort to unplug, to stay away from that flow of information coming in, information and misinformation. And I had to start limiting myself. So through this whole time too, my husband has continued to work. He is an essential employee. He works at a nuclear power plant. And so if you like having electricity, you'll understand why my husband's job is essential. So he has continued working. But of course, he's at work all day. And then when he comes home, he wants to get updates on what's been going on and what new news has come out that day. So I kind of found that if I sort of stay away from it during the day, then when he comes home and he starts looking at things and watching videos, we can kind of discuss things together, and it doesn't feel quite so overwhelming that way. Um, and so then I guess the other thing I've been trying to do is just stay busy. Um, a lot of people are talking about, oh, this is great. I can just sit home and binge watch, all my shows and all this stuff. I'm not that kind of person. Even when I'm sick, I don't like just laying in bed. I just don't enjoy it. I like to be doing something, even if I'm just sitting and doing something with my hands, but I just like to be busy. And so um, I've always got things I can do. Don't get me wrong. Because of my health, I struggle with keeping up with just my housework and things like that. So there's always things I can do, but I made also a conscious effort to come up with a list of things that I could do that are more fun for me, including trying to make videos. I just posted a video, it actually just went up today, the day that I'm filming this, of a wreath that I just made. So that was one of my projects that I lined up that I specifically wanted to work on during this time. And then also, I'm sitting here in my living room surrounded by a mess right now because I've been working on painting my end tables, and I'm making a video showing that process. So I've got right where my phone is that I'm recording with, I've got paintbrushes and paint cans and a table half in progress and just kind of a mess. But especially the painting, I have found to be really relaxing and very therapeutic. So that has been great. Plus, it's something that I've wanted to do for a long time, and I am absolutely loving how it's turning out. I'm so excited to share this with you guys because they look great. Not bragging on myself, but they really do. They're really looking amazing. So yeah, just finding fun things, relaxing things, anything you can do, again, to just kind of take your mind off the situation, going on outside, and just sort of relax. And then, of course, I think I've talked about some of these things before in some of my other videos where I talked about the stress of dealing with chronic illness. But I didn't mention these at first because these are kind of like everyday things for me. But I do, and I have been during all of this too, spending more time reading my Bible, studying things from the Bible, listening to music. I've been rewatching some like favorite movies and older TV shows. Like we don't have Netflix and stuff like that. There's really nothing on there that I'm interested in anyway. So I tend to like watching like older movies and things like that. In fact, I just got sort of for myself for a birthday present. I got the old TV series. Well, I say old, but it's from a few years back. The one called Road to Avonlea, which if you're familiar with the Anne of Green Gables series, it's related to that. And it was a television show that was on for, I think there's 9 seasons, and I got the complete set of the DVDs and started watching those. So that's like really, it's really relaxing. Again, set back in older times and takes you away from like modern day stress and things like that. So those types of things. I've just been really seeking out things that are very calming, very relaxing. And then probably another thing that I think is really good for dealing with stress, but especially for dealing with anxiety and even tending towards depression. Now, I've never been diagnosed with depression. I have been diagnosed with anxiety. But I definitely realize that there are times in my life where I am depressed. So I don't know what, I don't know a lot about that, whether that qualifies as depression. Um, you know, I don't really know how all that works, is basically what I'm trying to say. But I definitely have had times in my life where I felt depressed. And I was starting to get that way with a lot of the stress that's been going on with this situation in our world. Um, it really was getting to be overwhelming, and I felt myself getting depressed. And one thing that I have found when I start to feel that way is that I need to reach out and try to do something for someone else. I really feel the need to get outside of myself, and if I can do something to help someone, then it sort of eases those feelings for me. So that, in all honesty, that's one reason that I started my YouTube channel, because I wanted to make videos about dealing with chronic illnesses and dealing with health problems, and I just wanted to help other people in some way. So that's one of the things that I try to do when I'm feeling anxious or when I'm feeling depressed. So a couple of the things that I've done specifically during this time, a couple weeks ago, I sent out cards to all of my nieces and nephews, and I have currently 17 of them. I think that's right. So that was a job. Just, and I didn't write long notes to any of them, just little notes, but doing that many of them, it took a while to get those all done and get them sent out. And I heard a couple of very sweet reactions from several of them, so that was really awesome. So it brightened their days, but it certainly helped me also to, just in that little way, to reach out to somebody. And then another thing that I just found, a friend of mine actually invited me to this Facebook group. And I'm drawing a blank on the name of the group. I will post it in my description box. If you're interested, you can, look it up. But basically what this group does is you create an Amazon wish list, just of little items that you like, something you would want, maybe something for your kids or, whatever, things like that. And then within this group, you can post your wish list. And as far as I know, it's a group of women. I haven't seen any men in there, but I'm sure, if men wanted to be involved, that would be great too. But you can post your wish list in there, and then basically people just pick someone, or sometimes they do different games to pick someone. And you can view their Amazon wish list. You can purchase a gift for them, and then Amazon will send it directly to them. So Amazon keeps your address and everything private, but they will send the gift to, the person whose wish list that is. And that group has been so fun. I could really go crazy in there. And a lot of the other women in there have talked about that too, that it's like addicting. Like, you buy a present for one person and you want to do more. So I've only done 2 so far, just because my husband and I are on a pretty limited income. He works, and he's been fortunate to stay working during this time, but we are a 1-income household. So I've been trying to sort of hold back and not go crazy. But I did 2 so far, and I really find it so much fun. So I was saying, like, they do different games. Like, one of the ones they do is somebody will just post in the group and say, okay, post your wish list, and then you will purchase a gift for the person whose name is above you. And that way, everyone who leaves a comment on that particular post is actually sort of guaranteed that you will get a gift in return, which to me isn't really the important part for me, but certainly is fun. So I've really been enjoying that group. And like I said, if you were interested in that, or you could probably go look up, there might be other groups like that you can participate in. I've just really found it fun. And honestly, I found it fun. I already had an Amazon wish list with some things on it, things that I wanted. But I found it fun to just go through Amazon and just look for things that specifically I could add to that list. Um, that, I think like, oh, if someone was going to send me a gift, this might be fun, to have. So, like, because a lot of what I had on my Amazon wish list before was sort of higher ticket items, things I couldn't actually afford. And so I'd put them on my wish list. So now for this group, I've added a lot of, smaller, lower cost items, to make things more affordable. Because the things that I have sent, I've stayed right around about $10 or so for items. Or, sometimes somebody will post and say, share your link if you have some items on your list that are $5 or less, or, things like that. So it's been a lot of fun, even just going in there and reading through the things that people post. And then sometimes when people receive their gifts, they'll post pictures of them and share and, thank the person that sent them. So it's just really been a lot of fun feeling like just in a small way, I'm reaching out and doing something nice for someone else. And that, I think, is one of the really great things that's coming out of this situation, is seeing a lot of, I don't know the word I want to use, but I've been seeing a lot of like sort of good news stories being shared on Facebook and things like that. People posting stories about someone doing something for their neighbor, or, reaching out to an elderly person to go get their groceries for them. And I certainly hope that that attitude will continue after we sort of get back to our normal everyday lives. I really hope that we will all continue like reaching out to others and checking on people, making sure they're okay, making sure they don't need something, seeing if they need to be cheered up, all those types of things. I don't know if I made any sense at all in this video. I feel like I rambled. So I have no idea. But I just wanted to share some of my thoughts, some of what I've been doing. Like I said, it hasn't all been good. There have been really difficult days. There still are really difficult days. Every once in a while I just have a day where I'm just down. And especially if the weather is gray and yucky. This past weekend was cold. It got down to like 40 degrees again. And that is so unusual for us here in Tennessee at this time of year. My husband and I were talking about that. We normally have been running our air conditioner for a couple of weeks by this point in the year, and I was running the heat the last few days. So it's just been weird. The combination of tough things going on in the world and then not great weather, it really can bring you down. So I've been fighting back hard to try to keep my spirits up and to try to stay positive. But we are heading in the right direction, I think. Our state here in Tennessee has started, progressively opening things back up. They started, today's Tuesday, they started last Friday. They opened up some of the parks again. And then starting on Monday, they've opened some of the businesses. And, with lots of precautions, lots of limitations, only so many people at a time, and all those kind of things. So they're being cautious, but we are at least heading in that direction, and that makes me pretty happy. So, thank you if you have watched through this whole video. Thank you for watching. And if you're new here, I would love to have you subscribe to my channel. I've been posting about this on Facebook, but I'm almost to 800 subscribers, and I would love to get up to 1,000 this year. That would be really great. I've actually had that goal for a couple of years now to try to get to 1,000, but I know I haven't been very consistent with posting videos, so I really want to try to do better at that. Like I said, I'm working on these tables. I've got a couple more projects that I'm working on that I would love to share. I think I've got at least one other cooking video that I plan to share as soon as I get that edited. Probably a couple more. I've been cooking a lot more during this time, just kind of experimenting with new things, and so I'll be sharing some of those with you guys. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up, and thanks for watching this video, guys, and I will see you in the next